This is inferior surface of the brain, cerebellum. In the midline we have brain stem. So moving on to the first cranial nerve. Olfactory nerve. This nerve carries the sense of smell. The olfactory rootlets pierces the cribriform plate present in the roof of the nasal cavity. Hence it is a pure sensory nerve. Moving on to the second cranial nerve, optic nerve. They carry the visual impulse from the retina, which is also a pure sensory nerve. This is oculomotor. This one is trochlea. These two nerves are present in the midbrain. Let's see the extraocular muscles. These are the four recti, superior and inferior oblique. So the fourth nerve, leave the third one. You can see the trochlear nerve supplies superior oblique, can be remembered as SO4. Leave the fifth one. Moving on to the sixth, that is abducent nerve. You can see this nerve supplies the lateral rectus, LR6. So leaving these two muscles, all other muscles are supplied by oculomotor nerve. So 4, 5, 6, they are pure motor nerve. They supply the muscles of eye. This is third nerve supplying superior rectus, inferior oblique and medial rectus. Moving back to the fifth cranial nerve, trigeminal. This nerve is a mixed nerve, which is both motor and sensory. The sensory component, we have three divisions: ophthalmic, maxillary and mandibular. They supply the skin of the face. The motor component of the trigeminal nerve is the mandibular nerve. They supply all the muscles of mastication. What are the muscles of mastication? Temporalis, masseter, medial and lateral pterygoids. These muscles are supplied by mandibular division of trigeminal nerve. Sixth nerve, abducent, we have already seen. It supplies the lateral rectus. 6, 7, 8, they emerge at the pontomedullary junction. Seventh nerve, facial. This is also a mixed nerve, both motor and sensory. So the motor component of the facial nerve supplies muscles of face, muscles of the facial expressions. The parasympathetic component, that is secretomotor component, supplies the salivary and lacrimatory glands present in the face. Sensory component carries the taste sensation from the anterior two-thirds of the tongue. Eighth nerve is vestibulocochlear. It is a pure sensory nerve. They receive the auditory impulse and maintains the body equilibrium. It has two components, vestibular component and cochlear component. Moving on to the ninth nerve, 9, 10, 11 present in the posterolateral sulcus, and 12th nerve present at the anterolateral sulcus of medulla. So the glossopharyngeal nerve supplies pharynx. It supplies one muscle called stylopharyngeus. This is motor component. The sensory component, they carry taste sensation from posterior 1/3 of the tongue, including the circumvallate papilla. So this is a mixed nerve. 10th nerve is vagus. It supplies all the organs. It forms pulmonary plexus, cardiac plexus to supply the heart, lungs, all the abdominal viscera. It also supplies the larynx. So vagus nerve is also a mixed nerve which has both motor and sensory component. 11th, spinal accessory nerve. It is a pure motor nerve. They supply only two muscles, sternocleidomastoid and trapezius. 12th, hypoglossal. It is a pure motor nerve, supplies all the muscles of tongue except palatoglossus, which is supplied by cranial accessory nerve. Let's see all the four ganglia present in the face. So this is glossopharyngeal nerve, supplies parotid gland via optic ganglia. Moving on to the 7th, cranial nerve. Here we can see the pterygopalatine ganglia supplies lacrimal gland. It also supplies glands of palate and nasal mucosa. The submandibular ganglia supplies the submandibular salivary gland and sublingual salivary gland. Moving on to the ciliary ganglia, they supply ciliaris muscle and sphincter pupillae. So 1 to 8 are sensory nerve, 3, 4, 6, 11 and 12 are pure motor nerves, 5, 7, 9 and 10 they are mixed nerves, both motor and sensory.